It is maybe the greatest session of all time. And I mean, if you're doing that every single day, you are going to be building so much muscle. Right, good morning team. So some of you may know bulking season is right around the corner, and you know what that means? We are all going to get absolutely huge. So here's what I'm currently doing to do exactly that. Build as much muscle as fast as I possibly can. Starting with this guy just here, our overnight oats. And alongside my oats, I'll have a black coffee. This is what I've been doing instead of a pre-workout. Now, pre-workout for me, I feel like is so good when it actually hits, but I just feel like it actually never does hit. Like you have that one session where it is so good, but I just find that I get this super nervous feeling sometimes. Get these kind of jitters, and it's just, yeah, it's not nice. It doesn't actually make the gym good. So I have a black coffee, which does actually help give you a little boost in energy, a big liter of water, and this is the first thing that you should do every single morning. Just drink 1 liter of water as quickly as you possibly can. Or it doesn't need to be as quickly as you can, but just get a liter of water in. I put some creatine in here. It's completely optional, but yeah, definitely helps. Get this down as quick as possible. And the final thing that I'll start my morning with is one of these bad boys, the biggest bananas in the game. Look at the size of that. Literally just for an extra boosting carbs. So all of this works out to be our pre-workout meal. I'll just run you through what my overnight oats actually looks like. So again, I'm really just carb focused in the morning, or really just before my training. So in here we have Cocoa Pops, because that's the greatest cereal of all time. We've got 30 grams on the top of here, 100 grams of oats. And you know, whenever you have cereal or muesli, the literal best part of those little raisins that you get. So I've cut up some medjool dates, and they are all mixed in here. We've got 225 grams of skyr, which is giving us a little bit of protein, which really isn't necessary, but it doesn't super need to be avoided. The only thing that I would say is you don't really want like a super high fat pre-workout meal that's going to slow down your digestion, but protein, carbs, definitely want a carb focus, but you don't really need to shy away from protein. Now, I've been really enjoying the overnight oats recently, and I just make them in kind of batches. I'll actually show you. So this is my most recent one, and then in the fridge we also have 2 more just in here. So those are all prepped, and it just makes my morning so incredibly easier. Like I can open the fridge and everything is prepped, everything is ready. It just means that I can slam this and then get straight to the gym and go for an absolutely crazy session. So we're gonna get all of this down, and then we're making our way to the gym, and we have a leg session on the cards today. Okay, so we've made it to the gym, starting off how every single proper leg day should, with a good heavy set of squats. We're going to hopefully work this up to around, I think, 115, maybe 120. Switching into voiceover mode just now, I'm just going to let this current leg day play in the background. We went with 115 kilos for this first set. So what I wanted to talk about was the recent change that I've made with my training, because this last week and a half has been some of the greatest training sessions that I have ever had. And it's actually come from these last 2 months where I actually haven't been super enjoying the gym, and I really couldn't actually understand why, but I just was waking up each morning and I really actually wasn't wanting to go and train, which is like completely out of the ordinary. Usually the gym is like my favorite part of the day, but yeah, these last 2 months I just really was kind of dreading it, and I actually took a little step back to think about what it was that was happening. And I think that it was, well, now I know that it was, is my sessions were just way too long. So what I've actually done is I've changed from my current training split, or I guess my last training split, which was upper lower shoulders and arms, where my sessions were nearing on like 2.5 hours every single time, where I've now changed to a 6-day split, so an extra day, but my sessions are now maybe a maximum of 1.5 hours, doing 6 to 8 exercises, going push pull legs. And I tell you what, this has made an absolute world of difference, and it's such like a brilliant thing. This is what I'll always say to everyone if they're feeling kind of a little bit like they're falling out of love with training, or they're not enjoying their training, is to switch it
up. This is what I will always say, just switch it up. And I don't know why it took me so long to realize that I just needed to switch it up. And I've actually, this training split is the training split that I started the gym with like 5 years ago, and the one that actually made me fall in love with training. And these sessions recently have just been so much fun. And from this, I've actually made more progress in this last week and a half than I did this last month entirely of training, because I actually want to do the exercises that I'm doing rather than almost forcing myself to do them. And it's weird because I've actually had moments like this in the past with this training split where I've just actually forced myself to get over the kind of training hump that I was having, where I wasn't actually enjoying the sessions. But it really, all I needed to do was just change up the training, go back to something that I actually super do enjoy, that brings me into this training sessions where I'm actually so fired up to get after it. Really just train as hard as I physically can, and do the exercises that I want to do, like this leg session where I've got 2 different compound movements. Like for me, those are just the funnest exercises, and it's the ones that I'm actually so excited to get into the gym to actually go and perform, lift as much weight as I can. If there's a little bit of ego lifting, it's not the end of the world, but as long as I'm making progress, it's actually just unbelievably good. So if you notice that you've got something quite similar to that, where you're not actually super enjoying your training, you're maybe having a little bit of a wobble with it, or maybe it's just not as fun as it used to be, there's really 2 things that you can do. That first idea where you just completely force yourself through it, if you're still making progress, it actually can be a quite good thing to just force yourself through it. But if you've noticed that the progress is halted and you're really not enjoying the gym, either just take a little bit of time off. Most likely if you take a week off, you will actually be so fired up to go back and get back after it, or just change it up. Go back the exact same day, but change what you're doing. Go back to your original training split, the one that you actually really enjoyed when you first started the gym, the one that started your entire gym journey. Go and do all the exercises that you really like. Don't worry about doing the most optimal stuff. Just get as strong as you possibly can, and I promise you, you will have some of the best sessions that you've ever had.
It is maybe the greatest session of all time. It might not be like the most optimal training split, training 6 days a week, doing the push-pull legs, but bro, it's so much fun. Like a double compound movement, training every single set to failure. Oh my days. Like the sessions are just so much fun at the moment, especially with having a little bit like of a lull in training where I'm not super enjoying it. Changing it back to kind of that original form that I just absolutely fell in love with just is like, it's the best thing that you can possibly do. But we're gonna head back and get into our post-workout meal. So we just made it back from the gym, and usually I jump straight into my post-workout meal, which I am going to go and grab in just a little second. But there's one thing that I wanted to quickly show you, and that is this parcel just here. And to give this just a little bit of context, over my bodybuilding prep, one of my other goals was to get really into reading, and I absolutely did. There were 4 books, I think, that I finished over prep. David Goggins' Can't Hurt Me, this Arnold, Be Useful, this Extreme Ownership, and then Berserk, which is kind of like a manga, I think is the right word. Yeah, like the manga books. Really good. All 4 of those I absolutely loved. And then I bought this 5th book and I just could not get into it. Like I read 300 pages of this thing over 2 weeks, really trying to give it a chance, and I just really didn't enjoy it and ended up really falling out of love with reading because of that. But recently I watched this video just here that Joel Davies just posted, the most recent one. I can't quite remember the name of it, but what he was saying is how he got really into reading, and what should be in here, yes, here we go, is the exact book that he had just recommended, Flowers for Algernon, which I think is kind of like about this guy who's maybe not the smartest and then actually goes through this surgery and becomes this like superhuman genius. I really don't know about it, but he recommended it for whoever was watching the video, said that they would absolutely love this. So I'm super excited to get into this guy and actually fall back in love, or just start enjoying reading again, because what you actually don't realize is reading, one of the best things for muscle building is your sleep, and reading genuinely conks you out like crazy. Like if you read 15 minutes of a book before you go to sleep, it is one of the best things for your sleep possible, I promise you. If you genuinely do a week straight of like 5 to 10 pages, literally just 15 minutes before you go to sleep, you will have the best sleep that you have ever had. So yeah, really excited to get into this guy. Gonna read like a chapter or so today. But yeah, I think that it reads quite similarly to like a diary, so it's quite like a nice and easy read. It breaks it down super easily into sections, kind of like April 1st, this happened, April 2nd, this happened. So incredibly excited to get into this guy. But yeah, let's jump straight into our post-workout meal now. But I don't really have like a super consistent post-workout meal at the moment. I'm just really focused on getting some source of carbs, so I'm probably going to go with this rice. A good source of protein, which is probably going to be these beef things, which is just some frozen beef mince, and then just any mixed vegetables that I can really chuck in here. Maybe I'll chuck in a couple eggs, but let's see what we can actually create. I tell you what, if you're going to take absolutely anything away from this, it should be that this Cholula hot sauce, if you haven't tried it, it is the best thing in the game. Super low calorie, the flavor is unreal, it's not too spicy, you can genuinely chuck it on anything, I promise you. You've got to tap into the Cholula. So possibly not the most glamorous meal that has ever been created, but it definitely gets it done. Just over 900 calories, 50 grams of protein is exactly what you want. We've got 3 boiled eggs, 100 grams of beef, around 200 grams of carrots, 120 grams of basmati rice, and then some sauerkraut just here and for kind of just a little bit of color, as well as just adding some super easy low calorie volume. Now usually I'd eat a meal while just watching something, but with this new book, I'm actually really excited to get into it. So I think I'm going to try and read the first kind of 10 or so pages, maybe just the first chapter, while I'm actually eating this. Let the LARPing begin.
So like I said, I will usually watch a YouTube video, watch something while I'm eating. I tell you what, this was surprisingly difficult, actually not having this like instant stimulus in front of me, and as well, actually double tasking this while eating was surprisingly difficult. I kept kind of jumping in between the two. But if you're like me and you're always watching something, or you've got some kind of stimulus in front of you whenever you're eating, I'd really recommend at least just once giving it a try, just reading something or genuinely just eating without stimulus in front of you, because I promise you will find it so difficult.
Right, that is the first 10 pages of this guy. I won't sort of say too much of what happens, just in case anyone watching this actually wants to give it a try. Definitely, I think it could be very good. I really like how it actually reads. It just split into the different sections rather than different chapters. So I think that kind of page 10 is where it's just about to change, where he's about to go into his operation. Finished our post-workout meal as well. But apart from that, the reading, I would say, is kind of the lowest thing. If you can get your pre-workout, your post-workout, and most importantly your training session super dialed in, you are going to be building so much muscle so quickly you won't even know what to do, especially if you haven't really been on top of it. If you can really lock in that consistent high carb pre-workout and a good kind of high energizing post-workout, and a session that you really actually enjoy and actually want to go into the gym, train super hard, like I promise you, you will build so much muscle, it will actually be ridiculous. But yeah, that is where we're going to leave it for today. Flowers of Algernon, definitely worth having a little look at if you're wanting to get into reading, or if you've fallen off with reading, looking for something new to read. This is a great pickup. I think this is going to be really good. But with that, remember, hit the like, subscribe. I really hope that you enjoyed the video, and as always, be brave, be true, and I will catch you all in the next one.